Dance brother is the one for me. But Ophelia, why do we need a 15 minutes video on this topic? I mean, if you think about it, aromanticism, like Google says, is feeling little to no romantic attraction. So, doesn't that speak for itself? My foot. I would like to ask you, how can you define something without knowing what it is? That's like making a person who has never actually eaten pizza but heard of it, heard how good it is, how it is made, and all these things, but he has never eaten it, and you make this person eat the pizza with their eyes closed and ask them, what did you just eat? Quite literally. That's how we Eros feel about romantic attraction, okay? And especially because of this idea that all attractions are one, that it's just one thing, that romantic attraction consists of all different types of attraction, which can be intellectual, platonic, aesthetic, sensual, emotional, whatever. All of them are one. That makes it even more complicated for us. And all these attractions can be just that level of intense. This idea of amatonormativity makes us think that there's nothing as intense as romance, when in truth, every attraction is just that level of intense. And when you break down all these attractions into different types of attractions, instead of seeing them as one attraction, that makes your life a lot easier. And that's why this video is not going to be a typical science or aromantic video that has been picked up from Google. Okay, I'm actually going to share my experiences with you and how I, in some ways, figured out that I am aromantic. They may fit for you, they may not fit for you, because everybody is different. Everybody experiences aromanticism in their own different ways. Okay, like some people who are, I think, romance repulsed, it would be very obvious to them, but to me it was not like so obvious. Okay, and on top of that, feelings can't be explained as much as actually felt. Okay, and because we feel all these different types of attractions, nevertheless, and this includes the heteros as well, they also feel intellectual, platonic, sensual attraction, just that they also feel romantic attraction, so they classify every single attraction as romantic. Okay, so they don't have this confusion of, okay, what did I just feel? Us Eros, because we don't see it represented so much on social media or in different types of places, we actually feel attracted to a person and then we think, wait, was that romantic? Because we don't know what romantic means. Okay, we have seen it on the surface, but we really don't know what it means. Although it was only recently that I discovered I'm aromantic, I have been wanting to film a video, but I was thinking, what can I bring to the table really? And that is when I found this document that I had made, and these were some of the signs, key giveaways, as I call them, that made me realize, that made it so obvious that I was aromantic and maybe even asexual, but I don't really care as much to label my sexuality, and I'm not even sure about it, and I don't really care about it as such, so we'll just ignore those signs. Okay, if you resonate with those two, good enough. If you don't, you get some signs either ways, and you get some interesting experiences and perspectives. Okay, so the first two are quite linked to each other, so I'll start with explaining both of them together. So, because society portrays romance as this ultimate dream, ideal thing, I took my ideal into account and I subconsciously started calling it romantic, right? So, my ideal was a very emotionally intimate platonic relationship. That was my ideal in my head, and that is what I labeled as romantic in my head, and I didn't even realize. And I just thought, I have my own definition of things. Though a lot of time my definition also coincided with other people's definition, because to be honest, platonic and romantic attraction, I think it's a bit of an overkill to separate them, but I think they're not so different. Like on the surface, they're pretty similar. Like I can go to the movies with a friend of mine, with a male friend of mine, I'm hetero, and it would literally be the same thing. Like on the surface, you're watching a movie together. That's it, right? So if that had been in my vision too, it wouldn't look so different, right, from romance. And especially when you don't even know what it is in your head, you find something that is the closest to it to link that to romance or to label that as romance. And romance to me wasn't so much of, oh, this is romance. It was more to me like, this is my ideal. So, this is, if an emotionally intimate platonic relationship is my ideal, then that is romance, you know. So, that is what society does to us. And even when there would be anything that would be different from other people, like for example, I've never ever felt physically attracted to anyone in my life. I really don't know what physical attraction even means, okay? Now, this is not the case for all eros, but it definitely is for me. So, whenever I came across this aspect, I just labeled it as, romantic attraction is subjective for everyone. But the thing was that attraction and romantic, they were the same thing in my head. If somebody said attraction, that was romantic as well there. Like, I think a lot of us treat it this way. I didn't treat it like this in the case of attraction. I did treat it this way when it came to, for example, relationship. Whenever I heard the word relationship, I would automatically associate it with romantic. Now, a lot of people do that with attraction. And like the first point here says, because like I said, I thought my ideal was romance, right? So, whenever platonic attraction got to an extent when it was very, very, very intense, I automatically labeled it as romantic. So, for me, that meant that platonic and romantic were not two different spectrums, but it was like the same thing. It was like, till here it's platonic, and at this point, which is like the highest point it can get, this is romantic. So for me, platonic attraction taken to a very, very, very deep extent was romantic. Okay. So that made it very confusing. And even when I liked guys and I told them I like you, they would say, I'm sorry, I don't feel the same. I see you like a sister though, or I like you a lot platonically though. And I would see it as they don't like me as deeply as I like them. Not that they liked me in a different way. Do you understand that the spectrums were one for me? So when I thought of it as they don't like me as deeply as I like them, that is because romantic for me was this spectrum only but up here, right? For them, romantic was completely here. And because I was here, they could never place me here, but they also felt this only. Just that we had different labels to define it because they knew what romantic attraction was and I didn't, and that's why I confused it. This was rather ironic because we always felt the same way, and I just didn't realize, didn't know, and I would be hurt over it. But now I realize they did feel the same. Oh, this one is a big sign. Understanding romantic attraction as what it is not rather than what it is. This is not something that applied to me before I realized I was aro. This is something that applies to me now. So, how do I understand romantic attraction now? I understand that what I feel for this person is not any different, it's just more intense. And I think for that, it was very important for me to understand that platonic attraction can be just as intense as romantic. And the heteros, especially, I think, will doubt me on this, but I'll tell you, there's something called a squish and there's something called a crush. So, squishes are basically platonic crushes. We do all those things you guys do, like thinking about the person we like 24/7, not being able to get them out of our heads, talking to every single one of our friends about that person whom we like, not even realizing when we are talking about them, or being in our room listening to Best Friend's Brother is the fun for me while thinking of them. We'll think of them while listening to every single romantic song we could have heard. Okay, So, really, we do feel the same that you guys do, and to just the same intensity, if not more. But the catch here is, what do we think about them? What do we imagine when we are, making up scenarios about them? So in a romantic attraction, in a crush, you make up these scenarios of holding hands with them, hugging them maybe, going on dates with them. In a squish or in a platonic crush, we imagine deep conversations. We imagine getting to know them. We imagine, what if they were here and we were just getting to know each other? We imagine, I don't know, if there's something you're passionate about, like, I don't know, playing chess, then you would be thinking in terms of, oh, what if they were here and we could play chess? It could be anything. But like you can see, the nature of these feelings is different. But both are intense to the same extent. This is, I think, a very good way to understand whether what you're feeling is platonic or romantic. If you don't understand what something is, you can understand it as something it's not. It's pretty much the same as a mathematical theorem, right? You can either prove that one case as correct, or you can disprove all other cases to call it the correct one. Okay, fourth one is not something a lot of Aros will relate to, especially if they are a little young. But for me personally, my intuition is very strong. Like, it's very strong, okay? So even when like I told you, I would confess to the guy and he would say, I don't feel the same way for you, but they would be nice about it. And there would be something inside me that just knew that they did like me that way. I just knew it. But I thought that he himself said that he didn't, so it's probably just my ego convincing me. When in truth, my intuition was trying to tell me the reality that yes, they do feel the same way, just that my label was incorrect. Next one, I'm not sure if this is a sign of asexuality or aromanticism, but I definitely relate to this. Oh, by the way, for any heteros watching this, please note that aromantic and asexual are different. Romantic and sexual attraction are different. You may feel romantic attraction for a person, but you don't feel sexual attraction. You may feel sexual attraction for a person, but you don't feel romantic attraction. Like I said at the starting of this video, when we merge all attractions as one, that is exactly where the problem begins, especially for Aros or Aces. So, not having a type in terms of physical appearance. This is so true. Like, I never understood what's a type of person. Like, blondes are my type, or redheads are my type. I never got this. I swear to God, I never understood this. It's like, what judgment can I even make? Okay, it's like, even when I saw celebrities on screen, I have never in my life even found a celebrity attractive. The only people I have found attractive are the people whom I've actually interacted with and whom I think are nice people, whom I've either connected to on an emotional or intellectual or platonic level. Like, seriously, I don't get it. I just don't get it. How people call celebrities hot or sexy. Or, by the way, this is another sign. I never understood when people use these terms: hot, sexy, handsome. I never understood. It's like, it was just so weird to me. It's like, I never even got the vibe of those words. I thought that they were just like thrown around just like that, but I never personally could see a person walking on the street and define them as like, yeah, this person is hot. Yeah, he looks handsome. Oh my God. There was this one guy I liked, right? And he was like at a distance from me and he hadn't seen me. And I was just looking at him talking to a teacher from afar. And my friend was just standing beside me and I told her, he's that guy whom I told you about. And she said, oh, you have good taste. He's handsome. And I just felt so awkward about it because I would be thinking of him for a lot of time, yes, but I had never in my life used that term to describe him. Although, I kid you not, I had fallen for him completely. I swear, in the most aromantic way possible, I had fallen for him. But when she said he's just handsome, and I was like, Um, yes, I guess. Because it was just weird to me. Next one is you just don't, on a very subjective level, get the romantic vibe. It's like I can objectively tell that when I hear the word romantic, the narrative that's been put into my head by society is like a dinner date, a candle, um, a romantic stroll in the park. Like, I don't even know what that means, okay? But I personally don't get the vibe. I don't understand what's so different about dinner dates. And to make it even funnier, like when I didn't know I was Aero, I would say to my friends sometimes that if I ever get a boyfriend, like he has to be creative with his date settings. Like I'm okay with dinner dates, but seriously, find something different. It's like be more creative. You can go to amusement park, you can take me to a bookstore. Like seriously. And it was like I was almost bored of the typical traditional idea of dinner dates. It's almost like you're bored of having orange every day, so you decide to order mango. Like, that is a really random example, but you get my point. I just didn't get the vibe. Like, some people, I think they don't get the vibe of birthdays or Valentine's. And for me, it was romance, it was dinner dates. I never understood it. Oh, this is a good one. So, I am actually a self development content creator, and that's also the type of content I love to consume. So, I was watching this video by Tamcor. It was one of her girl talk videos, I think. And she got this question from a fan of hers: I love my boyfriend emotionally, but not physically. Would this be counted as love or something like that? And I didn't realize why that would be a problem. Like, I just didn't understand it. I was like, if I love someone emotionally, isn't that good enough? Because I don't feel physical attraction, okay? I don't know what that is. And when Tam especially advised against it, and she said that she had been in this situation and she learned the hard way, I was kind of taken aback. Another such YouTuber who advised against this was Lana Blakely. And I really love Lana Blakely because I just resonate so much with her. I just really love how original her videos are, even if her content is similar to other creators. She really brings a different kind of personality, and I absolutely love it. But I always thought when people advised against this that people were just being materialistic. But when these two people, especially, advised against this, I knew that these people were not materialistic. And Lana especially described it as like, something that all humans have. You're a human, it's okay for you to feel this way. That is what she said. And I knew at that point that this was a me thing. And now I understand it was a sign of my aromanticism. So next one is again I watched in one of these self-developmental videos, and people apparently have problems when their romantic partner does not plan a date but just casually hangs out. And that is apparently considered low standard. Because I only get attracted to guys like platonically or queer platonically, it's pretty much similar to a friend for me, right? It's like a friend may contact me, may call me in advance, being like, hey, would you like to go here with me this Saturday? And that would be cool, right? That would be cool. But even if I just end up meeting her randomly in my society, I would still talk to her. And apparently, people think with romantic partners that's low standard. And I personally never got this thing. I'm a person who kind of loves to make jokes and especially convert them into flirts with my closest friends, and especially guy friends, and especially guys whom I like platonically. So I would constantly make these jokes with my friend, and I think flirting is seen as something romantic by nature, but it's really not. Like, you can flirt platonically, okay? That is a completely normal thing. And I think for a lot of people, for a lot of hetero romantics, I've heard it can get confusing, but for me, I think it's just how I am. Like, even if people are not close to me, if I can see that they're kind of chill and they're kind of cool, then I would just randomly pass on an uplifting flirt, like something that will make you laugh, something that will kind of uplift you as well. Because I think flirting can uplift people's confidence at times if people feel that in general they're not attractive. And yeah, I think it's just a fun thing to do, and it's not innately romantic. So you can be aromantic and still enjoy flirting. Oh, this is a big one. This is a big one. I never understood when people were like, oh, he has friend zoned me. Oh, he has bro zoned me. I was like, I never really got it. It's like, even the guys I liked, I called them bro all the time. All the time. But I stopped later because I realized, apparently, from my friends, that if a guy is calling you bro, he doesn't like you. And so I thought I would give him the wrong signal. So I did conform to it for social norms. But now I realize I never had any problem with calling the guy I liked bro. Why? Because he was someone I liked platonically, okay? I was supposed to call him bro. I was just supposed to be emotionally open with him, okay? That's just how a relationship kind of works for me. Oh, next one. Oh my god, confused me for so long. So, the guys I often ended up liking, I could not fit them in the category of romantic. Okay, like although I thought that yes, this is romantic, like somewhere very, very deep inside, the word romantic never quite felt right for them. And so I would often be asking, what do I feel then? And I would be like, okay, yeah, they're just friends. And certain things that I would do, I would certainly not do for just friends. And my friends also pointed out, you don't do that for just friends. Like, you don't keep talking every day about that person or obsessing over them randomly without any reason. You don't think about a friend every single time you listen to a certain song. So he would not categorize in the label of just friends, and he would not come under the label of romantic either. And so I was like, what is this? Like, I would often be very, very confused. And because of that, it was only a lot later that I learned that something called altruist attraction, or some people call it queer platonic attraction, even exists. And that is when my life became a bit easier, but it was very difficult for me to describe what even altruist meant to me. For me, if I think about it, like, I always knew this, any relationship that I would have like 80% platonic elements and 20% more than friends elements. But the thing with society is, whenever you say more than friends, you always come to the conclusion of romance. But more than friends can also mean altruist. There is another option here. Just because the number isn't negative doesn't mean it's positive. It can also be zero. Pretty much the same thing. Wow, why am I giving maths analogies in this video? And because of this confusion, I especially feared that if I get close to a guy, I would start falling for them. And guys would always say, I don't feel the same way for you. When they did, I got to know later they did. I would always get scared because I could never really categorize this feeling. And I'm the kind of person, if I like you, I will tell you, okay? I will not keep it built up inside me. I wouldn't let it become a situationship. I have done this once in the past, and never again am I ending up in a situationship. Ever, okay? And by the way, as an aromantic, you can be in situationships. I think the typical definition that Gen Z gives us of situationships is that when you feel romantic attraction but you're not in a romantic relationship, that is not true. A situationship comes about from having certain feelings but not being able to communicate it directly to the person. For example, I didn't want a relationship because I wanted to focus on my studies, but I had feelings for this person, right? So I told this person, hey, I don't want a relationship, but I feel this way for you. But this is something you did that I that kind of triggered me. I could even say these sort of things and we would be okay with it. And that is what prevented it from becoming a situationship, and yet I was not in a relationship. Why? Because he was secure and I was secure. We had fixed our attachment styles. And that really tells you that situationships just come about from lack of communication, not from romantic attraction. Which is very similar to my next point, however. My girl friends would tell me about, the guy they liked. They would always, they would want to change things between them. Like if they had not confessed to the guy, and they would be meeting every day like friends, saying hi, talking a little bit, then being on their way. They wanted that to change. They wanted to, I don't know, go on dates, changing some sort of relationship between them just because they felt romantically, right? Me, on the other hand, even if I liked a guy and I didn't tell him how I felt, I didn't want anything to change. I just wanted to tell him, hey, this is how I feel for you. I didn't want anything to change ultimately because I was fine with the platonic nature of it. But I wanted exclusivity, as it says here, in the sense that I wanted to tell them, basically. I wanted them to know. I wanted to be more open about it with them. I wanted to say that, hey, you are a very special person in my life, and I want you to know that. Next one, I don't know if this one just fits for me or if it's for someone else as well. So, whenever I would get very, very emotionally close to a guy and we were having an emotionally intimate moment, I would want to hug them. Like, I remember this one guy, he was leaving, he was just saying bye and he was leaving, and I stopped him and I said, hey, can I have a hug? I just said that. And I thought that is what physical attraction meant. But my friend told me that that is not what it meant. What I was really doing was, because I couldn't express in words how much what he said or what he did, it actually meant to me, or how emotionally connected I felt in the moment, I kind of transferred it through a hug, I kind of just did that through a hug. So for me, physical intimacy was not so much an end of its own, it was a medium to convey emotional intimacy. I think people have this misconception that why would aromantics want a relationship? But the thing is, relationships don't just bring romance, they also bring this commitment. We are also humans and we also like to feel connected, to be able to call someone when we have had a bad day. We also like it to be able to call someone our partner. All that stuff does sound very appealing to us and we like to connect. Just that we don't feel the need for romance in that connection. So really, we can want relationships, and I think a marriage should be with someone who really gets you, and it's also about, benefits like tax benefits and all that stuff. So really, I don't see why romance should be per se a prerequisite like society calls it. This one again speaks for itself. I thought that because romance was about dinner dates, buying fancy things, Valentine's and all, I thought it was just a way of people being materialistic, and I had my own definition of romance that was non materialistic. This was before I knew I was aro. And I realized, okay, no, now I understand that it was not about materialism or superficiality. The main thing that I absolutely loved about seeing romantic relationships on media and everything, it was more about how two people were just there for each other, how they cared about each other, how they were by their side in every single way, and no matter what happened. So it was just the idea of a relationship that appealed me, not romance. They are not the same things, they can be seen separately. Oh, this one. Okay. So this one, Happened when I was 14, 15, I think. And this was the first guy I ever liked. And I had no idea about relationships, romance, nothing. I was absolutely naive. And so this guy, he often, like, he became my best friend eventually, but he would always be like jumping from relationship to relationship with girls. Okay, like if one of his relationships lasted like 2 months, I would be like, oh wow, he made it last like 2 months. But the thing was, I never understood that I liked him. Okay, I would listen to his talks about all these girls. He told me about all his romantic girlfriends, and I never ever got jealous. Despite liking him, I never got jealous, and I did not know I liked him, by the way. But if you like someone, you tend to get jealous, right? But after a few months, there was this girl he really liked, romantically. But this girl, she said to him, I want to be your best friend. That's it. That's it. But they were in a relationship because he was kind of desperate to get her, right? And when he told me that she said this, I was very jealous. I was very jealous. Not because I was afraid of being replaced, but in general, because I think I understood relationships that way only in my head. I had never ever got jealous from any of his romantic partners, but I did get jealous in this case, and this is exactly what told me, yes, I like him. That is the first day I think I ever got jealous from another girl about a guy. In short, I was basically jealous of a platonic partner. And what made it even confusing was the fact that I had no idea that platonic relationships existed. Complicated. When he would tell me he engaged in romantic acts with this girl, didn't care. I was like, please just move on. Like it would just cringe me out. Like I would be, I don't know. I didn't understand the whole vibe of it, honestly. But when he once said to me, this girl knows me emotionally better than you. Oh, trust me, I did not take that well. Because I'm a person who really likes to emotionally connect with people on a very deep level, and I love to just know them. And this guy, he would not really like, I really liked him, but he would sometimes not open up so easily about himself. And to hear that somebody knew him emotionally better than me, it really got to me. This was again my first time, so all's forgiven. This jealousy sign, by the way, is also represented in this aromantic show called Kuiseno Futari. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, or Two People Who Can't Fall in Love. Really check out that show, it's so good. Next one I think is a sign of asexuality, but I'm not sure. So if somebody asks me what is the most intimate form of physical connection you can have with someone, I'd say it's cuddling. I'd say it's cuddling any day. I've never actually done it, but like in my head, I can imagine it. In my head, I don't even know with whom, whatever, but I can kind of imagine it. I can imagine, like some dream person, don't know their face, can imagine doing it. But I can never in my life imagine engaging in a sexual activity with someone. I just can't. And it's not about thinking of it as something disgusting. No, not at all. Not at all. But it's just, I can't see myself doing it. Others want to do it, just another fun activity I think lovers engage in. Sure, go for it. But me, I don't see that. I can't even imagine that. So it's just really, it just makes me kind of uncomfortable to imagine myself in that situation. Also, I think a lot of these ideas that I think are kind of weird, and they just never sat that well with me. Like I was okay with it, but not really something I would think of. A lot of those ideas I realized were externally presented to me. So the time when you start realizing that, has this been told to me by society, or is this something I think that's when you really start understanding yourself better. And if you're aromantic, you'll figure it out. This one is just common sense, but I think if you ever have had to look up what's the difference between platonic and romantic attraction? I think it's very likely that you're aro. Not necessarily, but likely, because most people know what romance feels like, they just know. Oh, this one. Oh my god. So like I said, I am a self-development content creator, and I have often seen this as like being represented as a low standard thing by hetero romantic people. I remember one of Tamcor's video only, I saw let's not put a label on it is a low standard thing. And personally, I remember it kind of stressed me. This was not the time when I knew I was aro. I had a hunch, but I didn't know I was aro. So it kind of stressed me out because, like you can see, for us aromantics, it's not as simple as you guys. You guys see it in media and you just think it's one type of attraction, but for us, we have to juggle between many different types of attractions that are not even spoken of. I didn't know about altruist attraction for so long, which put me in so much confusion. I almost even lost a friend whom I was very close with, whom I liked. So, really, it's not that easy for us. That's why I have like a love hate relationship with this. Hate because of the simple reason that it's just so confusing, and love because I have been in a situationship once and never again. Okay. But again, I have no offense towards any heteroromantic people because I know for a fact they are not targeting me. Nobody is targeting you. Nobody is targeting us per se, especially in that post. She meant for it to be highly, highly generalized. And that's it. And yes, guys, if you're one of my subscribers, this is not my usual type of content, but I wanted to spread some awareness on this, even if I was afraid. What can I really bring to the table? What can be different in my content? But I really wanted to spread awareness on this. And other than that, this video was actually requested by a heteroromantic. And hey, another thing that's different about this video is some of the effects. Did you guys notice? And I know a lot of you have been asking me to, I don't know, fix my camera angle, all those things. But thing is, you guys, I will do that. I will start doing that in a few months, but not right now because there are other things in my life that require that priority. I also added a bit of music here and there in this video because I want to do that, because editing and all, it's actually a part of me. The main thing about this channel is it represents me, who I really am. I want to be my authentic self on here, and all that editing, it's a part of me. You can go check out my other anime editing channel if you really want good editing, because that's what I learned for like 5 to 6 years. So really, if you want good editing, you can go on that channel. I'll link it below. But on this channel, it will take me a little time to bring those effects in because I have other things I need to prioritize at the moment. But I really thank all of you who give me that constructive criticism. And by the way, thank you for 114 subscribers. I'm so glad. Really hope that this video helped an aromantic person or anyone to realize something about their romantic orientation. And remember, if you're an aro, even then, you will not figure it out in one day. I got to know the term altruist attraction when I was 15, but it's only now that I understand what altruist attraction truly means for me. So you will not figure it out in one day through one video, but just keep looking and I'm sure you'll figure it out. And I hope this video helped someone. So yeah, like, subscribe if this video helped, and yeah.